The Tennessee Titans are going on the road to face off against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are 3-point favorites going into this game, man. And let me tell you guys something. New Orleans is a team that you got to be really, really skeptical about. They could easily be this year's Denver Broncos team. Denver had a lot of hype. They got Russell Wilson. They got Nathaniel Hackett. They had a really talented squad. But when the season rolled around, it turns out Denver wasn't a good football team because they were poorly coached. And the New Orleans Saints, they have a more talented team than Tennessee going into this game. But do you know what gives Tennessee a little bit of an edge in this matchup? Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is one of the most underappreciated head coaches in the NFL. This fool was winning with Joshua Dobbs at the helm at quarterback, nearly beat Kansas City on the road in overtime with Malik Willis. And he's going against Dennis Allen, a head coach who has a losing record up to this point in his career, isn't good with clock management, late game situations. He can be a little bit too conservative at times. Coaching in week one is really important because your teams can tend to start a little bit slow. Things can get a little bit sloppy. The New Orleans Saints, they got a really good team, but they may not be the most well-coached team in a game like this, especially week one. A lot of penalties occur. And with this mostly coming down to it being a close game, I kind of like Tennessee. And you really shouldn't be surprised if Tennessee beats New Orleans week one. I think, as a matter of fact, this is my biggest lock of this week. I don't like New Orleans as a team this year. I think they're massively overrated. If they had any other head coach but Dennis Allen, let's say they had Sean Payton, I probably would like them to win this game, and I possibly would like them to make it out of the NFC, but they got Dennis Allen, who's not a good head coach. And I think that Mike Vrabel may coach circles around Dennis Allen in a game like this. The reason why I think New Orleans is going to underachieve is that they're going to be able to beat up on the weak teams like the Bucs that have bad coaching, but when they go against a team that has better coaching than them, I think they're going to come up short more times than not. Tennessee isn't one of those teams that you're going to be able to get a fluke win over. They're one of those teams that they embrace going into the fourth quarter. They embrace being underdogs. And Tennessee is the best team in the NFL when it comes to embodying the personality of their head coach. You do not want to find yourself down a touchdown with 2 minutes left going up against that Tennessee defense if you're Derek Carr in that Saints offense. Tennessee has the advantage on defense. Their secondary is going to be really good. They got a really good front seven. They may have the most underrated defense going into this year. I didn't have them on my top 10 defenses, but they came very close to being on it. Linebacker really good. Speed in the secondary. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. Tennessee has some dogs on that defense that match up very well against that New Orleans offense. If this is a low-scoring game that results in a final score of less than 20, it favors Tennessee. Tennessee is the kind of team that wants to be in ugly games. They want to go into the fourth quarter in a close game with you. So if New Orleans finds themselves in a competitive game late in the fourth quarter against Tennessee, I think it favors Tennessee. Not just is Tennessee a team that is more equipped to win close games, but what is the biggest determining factor in one possession scores? Special teams and coaching. The Titans have an advantage in a game like this. Their offense may not be as talented as the Saints, but I think that their defense is more than equipped to be able to neutralize that New Orleans Saints offense. New Orleans, they got a solid roster, but they are terribly coached. I mean, there were Saints fans who were a little bit mad because they weren't able to nab another linebacker. There's some concerns on that defensive line with the pass rush, with the run defense. I mean, there could be a really good chance that New Orleans ends up struggling against Tennessee in this game. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite, but I'm taking Tennessee with the under, and I like them to win outright. And that's the official prediction of mine, man. The New Orleans Saints, I think people are quickly going to find out why this team is heavily overrated and why Dennis Allen isn't it as the head coach of this team. And the Titans are going to be the first team to show everybody why I've been saying New Orleans is fool's gold all off season.